Hey, I popped on here to record this video because while I was getting my hair done, actually, this concept about manifesting. So this video is about manifesting and law of attraction, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of information about that out there. There's a lot of people engaging in these principles. There's a lot of misunderstanding. And so I'm going to chat about it. So I'm going to distinguish between manifesting and magnetizing. And I'm going to explain how I think manifesting has been, the human mind is fascinating because it will kind of like, it's an interference. Like there might be a universal truth, but once it gets filtered through our human mind of our limited perceptions and projections and what's possible for what we think is possible, etc., it can get diluted and a little like, it's like looking at a funhouse mirror. Like the truth can be messed with, and then we're kind of repeating these ideas, but like they're not fully coming from truth because our mind is kind of messing with it. So I just want to speak to that because it's very normal and natural and nothing to be making yourself wrong or bad for. So manifesting problems that I am finding, because I talk about this stuff with clients all the time, not so much lately, but it's definitely a thing. So the idea is like you have to do something to get something. The reason I like magnetizing, because it's assuming this truth, and this is what I think is the big thing that's missing. Magnetizing is assuming. So I am assuming, well, this came with a lot of work and transformation, as you know from my other videos, but I'm assuming I'm on purpose. I'm assuming I'm worthy. I'm assuming because I'm breathing and I'm not flying off into oblivion off the face of the earth, that like all of these multitudes of factors that are incredibly intelligent are working in my favor. And that takes a while to reprogram. It's almost like updating our operating system, I like to call it. So when I talk about you are the manual concepts, how your mind, body, heart, and spirit intelligent systems work, they're different, but they work together and they're plugged into everything. So that's, in my opinion, our nature. So when we go to manifest something, there's a lot of fear. People have a lot of fear, and there's a lot of great stuff with like tapping, and a lot of people are talking about this, like how to break through money blocks and all this kind of stuff to get us clear to actually engage with these universal principles that just kind of are. They're kind of like just gravity. Like they don't care what you ate for breakfast or how you talked to your mom the day before. Gravity's just going to work. So it's not anything personal. It's not anything you do or don't do. Manifesting, the misunderstanding of manifesting, I think the use of the word is one that you have to do something to get something. So if you're not doing something, it's like you're going to drop the ball. And so it evokes some fear and scarcity in people, which is the exact opposite of magnetizing. Magnetizing is like, how good could I feel right now? Because, and this is like Abraham Hicks did a great job of introducing this to people. How good can I feel? And another thing I say is like, how me can I be? Which sounds really silly, but it's very, very practical. When you are your highest expression, this isn't something you don't know the answer to. Everyone I talk to knows the answer. They might like fumble around for a little bit. They know, I really, it was like, it's even specific. I remember somebody was like, I want to eat overnight oats. Specific. I want green smoothies. There's like, if you were your higher self today, if you were your highest expression today, what would that look like? And not in a judgy way. Not like, if you don't do that today, you suck. It's like an invitation to pull more of who you are and your highest expression into your physical reality. And that means like, how good can I feel today? That's magnetizing, because when you are here, and you can tell by how you feel, if you're ping-ponging and squirrely and freaked out and not present. And a lot of people, that's their normal reality. So I could say all these things and they're like, oh, I'm not like that. Maybe not. Maybe like consider, because people don't even know what it feels like to be really present. So like if you think back to a time you've been really, really, really present, it might be on a beach, it might be holding your child, it might be like a nice walk in nature, and like you're like, oh, those feelings. And the idea is to like turn up the dial on those feelings. So you're magnetizing. And then the good news is it's like, oh, yay, you feel good. And now you're primed to, big word of this video, receive. You're magnetizing and you're able to receive. Because I think the biggest problem with manifesting is people are doing. It's like if the ocean was only ever doing the flow and not the ebb. So on the ebb, there's this natural magnetic pull, right? With the moon and all that kind of cool stuff. We forget we're part of this nature. It's like we have to be able to receive. And receiving also means not knowing what it's going to look like necessarily. And our mind likes to know. It's like, how's this going to work? It's very noisy and it wants to know everything. But how can you know a possibility? How can I really know how today's going to go when it hasn't been here yet? That's the realm of creative possibility, which also you plug into when you're magnetizing. When I'm magnetizing, I'm actually not doing it. I am entertaining the reality that I'm plugged into nature and all those things I just talked about with that you are the manual system that I teach people, right? It's like your mind, body, heart, and spirit all work together and they're all connected to something really freaking magnificent and intelligent and creative that we can't fathom. And so I did a quick Instagram post today and it was just kind of poured out of me like, I want to hash this out a little bit more so that people can really understand what I'm saying here. When people think they have to do something to get something in the sort of like misunderstanding of manifestation world, there's this sense of like, I'm not good enough now. I need this thing out there to change my life and then I'll feel good. And that is a freaking trap, my friends. It's a trap and it sucks. So we can take these really cool law of attraction things and then our mind is messing with it and it's just another carrot dangling. It's another have to. So it's no longer this magical spiritual principle that is cool. It's another thing you have to do. And if you don't do it right, this is my second point of the misunderstanding of manifesting, is that your negative thoughts are going to mess you up. Your negative thoughts are just like a radio station that's playing. And they're not as strong as you think they are, because I run into this all the time. They're like, oh my God, I'm thinking negative thoughts. I'm not. As long as you know that you're not the thoughts, there is the presence beneath the thoughts. That's who you really are. That's where you're magnetizing. Who you really are isn't your mind, body, heart, or spirit. It's like this intersection of it all. I call your center or your being, which you'll notice I use the word being a lot. That's what I mean by being. It's the intersection of everything. And there's this really, the heart center is also a good way. Really small space within your heart that's just like bang in the center. And you can take intellectual data and consider it. You can take sensory data from your body. You can take emotional data from your heart center, like your emotional center, let's call that, to distinguish from the heart center. But deep within your heart is like your like center, like who you really are right here, right now, no noise, clear, direct. Everyone has that. Their capacity to connect to it is what I teach. I do not give people this. This is already there, makes my life easier. Okay, it's already there. What's in the way of us experiencing what's our nature? It's our nature to have everything we need to succeed. Again, that's the thing I'm subscribing to. It takes a long time to be like, oh, I'm enough? If I'm enough, here's the other problem of manifesting. What will motivate me? If I'm enough already, what will get me to the gym? What will have me make that green smoothie? Your life will. your impulse to live your highest self will motivate you in a way that isn't so pushy, that isn't so, if you don't do this, you suck. It's like, I'm alive, so this is what I do. And it's just such a very different place that not a lot of people are familiar with. Like, we are in a culture of try hard, try hard, try hard, then get. Okay, we've got a comment here. Makes so much sense than trying and feeling like I have to do more to manifest something. Yes, exactly, right? That's why I was like, I'm going to do this video. I have this space in the middle of the day. I want to talk more about this stuff. So if you don't, and that's the same thing, if you don't get it right, you fail. I mean, how motivating is that? But that's just what we've been doing. So the new operating system I am talking about, where we're magnetizing, we're just, it's there as I'm being, living, breathing, not doing. I could be cleaning my sock drawer. Look at the KonMari method. Everything's connected. This amazing pixie ball of love woman. I couldn't believe when I watched that Netflix show. I'm like, that woman is pure love in human form. Like, she is amazing. She is inviting people in her vehicle for her expression. Her magnetizing zone of genius thing is tidying. I mean, tidying has been so much like part of perfectionism that I have a different relationship with it. But now I realize, as I am my fullest expression, I naturally want to clean. I naturally am like, oh, this feels junky, I'm going to clean. And whereas before, the motivation was, I need to clean. I'm shitty if I don't have a clean house. I'm like somehow wrong or bad if I don't do X. That's what I'm really trying to bankrupt here, is that manifesting 101 stuff can really actually support the idea that you suck if you don't have this thing. It's the same thing as like the L'Oreal shampoo or the Ferrari or the house or the thing or the this or the that, right? The ego. Magnetizing is like, of course I have everything I need to be who I am. Of course my body is exactly what it needs to be who I am. If you are a seed for a tree, and everything, right? The soil, the water, like, it's all there. So when we plug back into our nature, because I think this is our nature, but we forgot, we have everything we need. Do we know how it's all going to go? No. That's why when I wrote a book, it was a little mini book. I was following the soul crumbs because I had no freaking clue. But I entertained these little nuggets that I'm talking about, the being receptive. The little nuggets won't make sense to your logical mind all the time. They actually might directly oppose your logical mind. And that can look like when I went to Peru. Go to Peru. I'm kind of busy right now. It's expensive. It's this and that. But Peru had something for me on a soul level that made me more me, that made me more magnetic, because the more you become, the more the magnet grows, the more aligned your life becomes. You meet the people that are like you, no trying. You're just like each other because you've magnetized. When you're manifesting and doing and the have tos. I also wrote an article about get to and have to. So if it's like have to, it's kind of like I have to manifest. I get to be alive today and participate with reality, but I need to be here. I need to have all of me here in order to do that. And that naturally makes me a magnet to what's for me or for you, right? So my life will be significantly different than your life, because it should be, and sometimes we're very similar to people, and we like to listen to people that are similar to ourselves because that gives us validation, like, oh yeah, me too, right? So these are universal principles, though. Like, you don't have to be like me or have my life for this to make sense. You could be doing all sorts of different types of life things, but these are universal principles. So consider, just to wrap it up, when you are magnetizing, you're already worthy. You're already enough. That's not even a question. You're breathing. You're enough. Period. Done. Nothing to do. Everything you need will be provided when it's needed. Not because you're scared and you don't know, and oh my gosh, what if it doesn't happen? La, 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 la. If a forest was to have a human consciousness with all of that noise and crap, like nothing would get done. Can you imagine the trees all freaking out? Our nature is to be supported and to receive. So as we actually align back to that flow, align back to that truth, we feel better. We feel more confident because it's not all on us to do something or not. And our life, yeah, it just kind of unfolds in a whole other way. So much easier. So much easier. It doesn't mean it will be easy all the time. You're still going to be challenged. You're still going to be creating and pushing your own boundaries and growing and evolving and adapting. But you won't be freaking out and constantly wondering, are you there? Should you do this? That noisy, squirrely reality. Totally lived there, been there, have all the t-shirts, burn the frickin' t-shirts. Those t-shirts suck. This is like a sucky reality. Being like, okay, this is what shamanism brought to me. It's like, I am connected to source. I'm connected to spirit, whatever you want to call it. I'm connected to nature. That's why I love nature as a teacher. So of course, I have everything I need, right? Of course, as long as I'm here and I'm connected, I'm using my intelligence systems that I was born with. I was born with the manual to my life, and it's my unique manual. It's not going to look like everyone else's. So I have to run everything through my system to know the right path for myself. But when you do this, when you magnetize and receive versus trying all the trying things, it is a whole other ball game, and you're participating with creation and reality rather than having to do something. And if you don't do something, then you suck, right? You can kind of even feel the difference. I mean, I'm really like showing the difference of like, and then that's how it is. One is and one is la. So you get to pick, try these things out. I just wanted to capture this in a video, and I'll talk to you soon.